Hello students, today we will discuss about the scope of financial management. In the last slide, I have explained you what is the meaning of financial management and what is the definition of financial management and what are the functions of financial management. Why the financial management has gained importance in the present scenario. These are the points we have discussed in the last class. Today we are going to discuss about scope of financial management. That is nothing but importance of financial management. You know, the financial management has become a separate discipline and there has been a dramatic change in the concept of financial management. Under the scope of financial management, there are two well-known approaches. They are traditional approach and modern approach. Traditional, when the importance was given to the management, at that time this concept came into an existence, that is traditional, that is an old concept, old approach, that is traditional approach. Now let us see what does this traditional approach means and what are the concepts includes under, or what are the areas under traditional approach. This approach gives a limited role to financial management. The role of financial management was limited. The role was assigned to the financial management, but the role which was done by the management was very limited. You can think about the olden before 20th century or on 21st century, there was a lot of difference in case of the management of business a company, or the taking of the decisions or the competitions, etc. Now the scenario is entirely different. So when you compare the two centuries, there are a lot of changes in the business practices, environment, culture, etc. So because of this reason, that you can find a lot of difference in the traditional approach and modern approach. That's why the traditional approach has been said as a limited role. The role was assigned was limited. This approach is valid even in present days. This approach with some of the companies follow up even in the present days, where the scale of operation is small, where their business is very small or small scale business just started with a very less amount of capital, where their profitability is limited, where the promoters are not dynamic. They don't change, they maintain the same level of thinking or same level of business. So for that kind of companies, they follow even today traditional approach, where the profitability is limited and where their operation is small. Now let us see what are the important concepts includes under traditional approach. The first one is raising the funds. As I have discussed you before, the financial management, raising the funds were given more importance. Now today, not only raising the funds but also the utilization of the funds were given more importance. So under the traditional approach, the first they have to, or the area of study is raising the funds. Now what does it mean? What is raising the funds? Raising the funds means they have to get the money to start the business. Money they have planned in advance to how much they need to start the business. These funds has to be raised from various sources. Each source has its cost and benefit, which may be different from any other source. So for example, if I'll give you the example of different sources, we have share capital. Through shares we can raise the funds, or through debentures we can raise the funds, or through loans, that is short term loan, long term loans, or you can borrow from the mutual fund company or from the venture capital, or from your friends or business or any other who are financially able to fund you. Okay, so each source, if you check our equity shares or preference shares or debentures or loans, Each source has its own cost and a benefit. So you cannot depend only on one source. Okay, it may be cheaper, cheaper, but you have to pay early. Okay, within 1 year you have to finish your loan. So at that time you may not be able to pay. If you take longer time, you have to pay more interest. So each and every source has its own limitations and advantage. Now the financial manager, it is up to the finance manager, selects the source that gives a maximum benefit to the organization. From the organization point of view, it always thinks that it should get a maximum benefit. Whatever the sources it selects, but the company should be benefited from it. In terms of cost, either the interest rate is less or the repayment period is extended, or like that. If they'll get a benefit, then they can select those source. However, an organization giving a traditional approach may have a limited number of sources. But if you go for traditional approach, the source is limited because you don't have a large scale business. Your profitability is less. Your promoters are not dynamic. So what happens is, you cannot raise from the source which you have thought of, because if you go for equity shares, decided to go for equity shares, and you have given a prospectus, everything has been started, but the investors are not ready to invest in your company because your company is small, your profit is less, and you're not dynamic towards the changes in the environment. So it may fail, it may happen. Okay, so to avoid all those things, they have to plan in advance. So which source they can it can be raised, and from which source the company will be benefited. Okay, so that's what I've told you in this point. They have limited number of source. The source is very limited here. The function become dynamic and significant by the firm that cultivates a market friendly image. Such an image helps the corporate to raise funds from the investors regularly to meet the ever growing demand for funds. So as the company develops, if it creates a friendly image among the public, among the investors, okay, with its good thought or good ideas or good profitability position, if it creates that friendly image, automatically the investors will come and invest. Okay, so in the traditional approach, they have given concentration on raising the funds. Raising the funds, they have given concepts as the source which gives a best result or maximum benefit. That source has to be selected. So financial manager has to study the environment, the investment level, or the investor's perspective towards the company, and then decide which source is a best source. Now let us see the second point under the traditional approach is external reporting. They have given importance for raising the funds. After that, external reporting. Now what is this external reporting? External reporting is nothing but whatever your financial statement is there, you prepare a financial statement every year, every annual year. At the end of the annual year, it may be December or it may be March, you prepare accounts, get them audited, and send the copies to the necessary authorities or necessary government officials or to the shareholders. That is called as external reporting. External parties. External is nothing but the investors, the government officials, income tax department. They are called external to the organization. For them, you have to show your reports, how much funds you have raised, how much you have invested in fixed current assets, current liabilities, etc., and what is the profit they have earned. So at the end of the financial year, they prepare a trading and profit and loss account, balance sheet, and get them audited first, then send the copies to the external authorities or external stakeholders. After the annual general body meeting, the dividend warrants are to be sent to also any complaints regarding them to be attended. See, if there have any complaints, investors have any complaints regarding dividend, etc., it has to be attended, and the dividend has to be given. The accounts have become the rich source of financial information to the general investing public, analysts and academicians. Realizing the importance of this document, the accounting bodies in each country have prescribed the accounting standards. So there you have accounting standards, procedures, etc. So how to record the fixed assets, current assets, liabilities, etc. So we have different like companies, we have schedules where we open the schedules and we show the items related to the particular schedules and transaction and submit a balance sheet. So we have their own accounting prescribed standards, so that standard has to be followed. Regulatory bodies like SEBI will have their own guidelines in preparation and presentation of annual reports. Even SEBI will interfere if your shares are if your companies are listed in stock market, then SEBI will be a part of your company. They will check or they will be scrutinizing your financial statement and so that you prepare a correct and accurate financial statements and submit it to the stakeholders. In addition, listed companies are required to and publish quarterly financial statement. Even listed companies, they have to prepare the statement and get them published every quarterly to the SEBI. SEBI, they have to send the document. So this is all about external reporting. External reporting is submitting your financial statement to the stakeholders after getting audited. Okay, so it has its own standards, prescribed standards they have to follow and prepare it and submit it to the various stakeholders. Stakeholders in the sense shareholders, outsiders, income tax department, government, then public. All those are the stakeholders of the company. For them it has to be reported. Even SEBI will take part in the audit, not in the auditing, but to check the financial statement, and they also give their own, provide their own guidelines for the preparation and presentation of annual reports. Next point under the traditional approach is institutions and instrument. Now, what are the institutions which provide loans to the companies, and which are the instruments wherein they can raise the funds? So these points were under the traditional approach. Institutions, before which are the institutions which provides all funds to the company? Institutions in the sense it is banks is our institutions, capital market, money market, venture capital, mutual fund companies, all the non-financial institutions, all the financial institutions that provide funds to the company, they are called as institutions, wherein they can mobilize the funds. Instruments. Now instruments is nothing but the sources from where you raise the funds. Like capital market, we have debenture, shares, loans, bonds, etc. And if you go to the venture capitals, they have their own schemes, mutual fund schemes, wherein you invest and you get the money, or you provide submit an ideas to them and they will provide you with the money. The banks are the main source of finance, wherein they have their own instruments where you can secured loan, unsecured loans, etc. So these are all falls under the institutions and instruments. Similarly, the instrument used in the money market and institutional framework of the money market also falls within the scope of financial management. So the scope of financial management has become wider and wider, not very wider we can say, because it includes only the three concepts: traditional approach, they are raising the funds, external reporting, institutions and instrument. Now let us see the limitations of traditional approach. After getting into the concepts called what is the meaning of traditional approach and what are the scopes or area of study under traditional approach, that is raising the funds, external reporting and institution and instrument. The next concept is limitations of traditional approach, and what are the limitations of these approach. First one is overemphasis on external reporting. The one of the limitations is they are focusing only on reporting, not of utilization of funds. They are more concerned about how the reports are to be prepared, and it has to be sent, and it has to be audited, but not of the other activities needed in the organization, like to how to utilize the funds, where to get the funds, from where to invest those funds, how much funds have to be invested in each source. So these are the points which were not discussed at all in case of a traditional approach. Corporate bias. It is concerned with finances of joint stock companies, non-corporate bodies like a partnership firm, cooperative, etc., or operate on a large scale. So in the beginning itself, I have told you the traditional approach has a limited role, and it is suitable for small firms, not of the large firms like joint stock companies, corporate partnership firms, cooperatives. All these are the large scale companies, wherein these approach is not applicable here. So that becomes an advantage. It becomes a bias wherein it is suitable only for the small scale industries, not for the large scale industries. Third point, ignoring routine problems. The company may have a routine. Routine is nothing but day-to-day problems. It has been ignored totally here. The problems which are very rare, like merger and acquisition, financial restructuring, etc., routine problems were not given due importance. Routine problems in the sense, if they are not able to pay the wages, if the laborers are on strike, if the raw materials are not available, all these are the routine problems which the company may be facing, but they are not concentrating on how to solve those routine problems, but they are more emphasis has been laid on rare events like merger and acquisition, which has been very rare, like if they have to go for to merge with one companies, if they have funds, they go for every day or every year. They don't go for merger and acquisition, but on traditional approaches, routine problems are totally ignored. Insignificant role to working capital management. The role of working capital management is insignificant. It has not given much importance at all. But if we think practically, working capital management is a very important part in the business, because without working capital, the company cannot run its business smoothly. Every day they need a working capital in the form of wages, in the form of salaries, in the form of raw materials, etc. But what is the role, how much working capital they should keep, how much they should invest, and how much the funds are flowing. So that kind of details records are not being kept, or it has not been given much importance. It may goes on. But if working capital stops here, if you are not paying wages to your workers, so they will not come tomorrow. If they will not come, then what happens is your production stops. When your production stops, your profit also reduces. Your company's total position or financial position will come down. So there is a lot of effect of working capital. But here the problem of working capital is totally ignored. Next, the last limitations of this approach is it is descriptive. It is like it is the whatever the theory about traditional approach is only in the form of a paragraph, in the form of words, etc. But if we use practically in the company, it has not been applicable. We are not able to implement it in a practical way. It is only a theoretical way. In the theory, we say that it is a financial traditional approach is being used for the taking proper decisions, etc. But when you use it in a practical way, it becomes very difficult. Even many of the techniques many of the mathematical tools are used in financial management. It is very complicated. If we use it in a practical way, it does not help the organization. So that kind of problems comes in case of financial management. So these are the limitations of traditional approach. Traditional approach is concentrating only on raising the funds, external reporting, institutions and instrument, but it doesn't give much importance to the other concepts like reutilization, etc. So that these 5 are the limitations of a traditional approach. Okay, so modern approach we will be discussing in the next slide or next video I'll be sending you. This traditional approach comes for the section A for 6 marks, and it is important for the exam, 6 marks. Scope of financial management, both traditional as well as modern, both are important for the exam. Traditional approach will come for 6 marks and modern approach will come for 12 marks or for 24 marks. Okay, thank you.